Oh y'all, this gonna be a good video. This gonna be a good video, and I've been waiting to film this one, so I hope y'all are ready. We're about to get nice and cozy and comfortable, and I hope you grab a snack because we gonna definitely be talking about entrepreneurship today, some of the pros and some of the cons as it relates to being a full-time entrepreneur. So hello y'all, hey, it's Troyia Monay back to y'all with another episode or another video. I hope you guys are having a good day, and if you are new here, I am your business bestie. I'm an e-commerce expert. I help you launch, grow, and scale profitable e-commerce businesses, okay? So let's get into it, y'all. In today's video, I really want us to take a deep dive into being a full-time entrepreneur. What does that mean? What does it look like? All the things. So if you guys don't know, I have just entered into year 2, I believe, of full-time entrepreneurship. I quit my 9-to-5 on March 10th. And I'll insert the video right here so that way y'all can see how it was of me quitting my 9-to-5 exactly in the moment that I quit on.
I literally just put my 2 weeks in for my job. And it is literally the most happiest, craziest experience. I'm literally trying not to cry right now, but literally the most happiest, craziest feeling right now because I'm literally like completely stepping out on faith right now. And this feeling just feels so good, but it feels kind of scary at the same time, but I don't even know really what to say. I'm super excited. This is something I've been praying about for a long time.
If you work a 9-to-5 and you are considering being a full-time entrepreneur, I need you to watch this entire video. Please watch it, y'all, because I cannot tell y'all how many times I've gotten comments on my Instagram DMs of people just saying, oh my goodness, I can't wait to, live my life working full-time within my business and different things like that. And that is amazing, y'all, but I gotta give you the real deal. I gotta give you the real spiel as it relates to being a full-time entrepreneur, because sometimes it is rewarding. It is so rewarding working within your, your passion, working in your dream. But I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Sometimes I can get a little bit envious of my friends who work regular 9-to-5s. And I'm gonna be talking to you guys about personally some of my pros and cons as it relates to being a full-time entrepreneur, because I cannot stand seeing people on social media glorify full-time entrepreneurship but don't talk about the hardships as it relates to full-time entrepreneurship too. Because y'all, the hardships, they gonna hit you hard, and they hit you hard quite often sometimes. So I really want to kind of go through and talk about that, but in no way, shape, or form am I bashing full-time entrepreneurship. I am a full-time entrepreneur. I love what I do. God has blessed me tremendously, but I ain't gonna lie to y'all, there have been times where I'm like, listen, that 9-to-5 looking real good, okay? So I definitely want to shed some light on, don't quit your 9-to-5 essentially. Don't quit it just yet. I'm gonna tell you why. So while we are on the topic of not quitting your 9-to-5, let me tell you a couple of the reasons as to why you should wait just a little while longer before you quit your 9-to-5, right? So when you are thinking about becoming a full-time entrepreneur, you guys, you have to have a really strong mindset. Like your mindset gotta literally be like on go mode. Like you have to have the mindset of working like the rent dude type mindset, right? Like you gotta really have that type of mindset. And if you don't, like, you gonna dwindle down really quickly. Especially if you don't have like consistent income coming in. I know when I first quit my 9-to-5, I actually insert the video of me right after I talked to HR, like right here so y'all can see it. But one of the main things that I really focused on before I quit was saving a lot of money and making sure that I had consistent income coming in that was taking over the amount of money I was making at my 9-to-5. So if you guys haven't just watched my rags to riches type of video, broke to financially stable video, make sure you guys go through and watch that. That video is doing numbers right now. But in that video, I really talked about making sure I saved enough money, and then also telling you guys how much money I even made. So in my first 9-to-5, I was only making $32,000 a year, which is not a lot of money living in New York City, right? So I tried to make sure that before I quit my 9-to-5, I saved up 11 months worth of finances and bill money, right? So I calculated how much is my bills every single month, saved 11 months worth, and put it away. I had already started my YouTube channel. I had already, you know, had my boutique. My coaching business was going really, really good. So I had several sources of income. So I was able to save a lot more money doing it that way. I would say if you are trying to leave your 9 to 5, make sure you save close to a year. I would say 10 to 12 months worth of bill money. You need to have that set aside just in case the business flops, you get sick. Like, there's so many different things that I really want to talk, that we're going to talk about in today's video. But my number one thing is, you guys, before you quit your 9 to 5, you need to make sure that you are using your 9 to 5 to fund your business. Please make sure you use your 9 to 5 to fund your business. I know a lot of you guys are doing that right now, and that's awesome. Continue to do that, and also continue to save that money to the side so that way you have something to kind of just like fall back on if anything were to happen. But I want you to think about it as if, like, now I'm a full-time entrepreneur. All of the money that I'm making within my business has to go back into my business, right? But since your guys are working a 9 to 5, all the money that you're making in your 9 to 5, you're technically using other people's money. However, you are kind of going through and exchanging your time, right? So I want y'all to think about that. Like, please make sure you use your 9 to 5 to fund your business. And then after it's funded, after it's stable, after it's consistent, you're seeing consistent revenue come in, then that's why when you might want to go through and kind of go through and, you know, check up the new system. But I really wanted to talk to y'all about some of the cons today. Like, I'm gonna go on a rant and it's gonna sound like I'm complaining, but I promise y'all I'm not. It's just that sometimes, like I said, I can get pretty envious of my friends who work 9 to 5s, and I'm just being honest, right? Like, there have been plenty of times where I'm like, listen, I don't know if I want to do this, but I know that, you know, me being an entrepreneur is so much bigger than me. I'm literally working and doing something that I know God wants me to do at the end of the day. So that's the thing that kind of really goes through and pushes me. All right, so let's hop right on into it. So these are some of the cons that I would say that you have when you are working as a full-time entrepreneur opposed to working a 9 to 5, right? So the number one, y'all, is when you work a 9 to 5, you can enjoy your holidays and your vacations. You can fully enjoy your holidays and vacations. Like, there have been so many times where I've been on vacation working as a full-time entrepreneur, and I got my laptop with me. I got both of my cell phones with me, my business phone and my personal phone. I'm checking emails. I'm responding back to people's comments, right? Like, it's so hard to detach yourself when you work a 9 to 5. When you're a full-time entrepreneur, it's so hard to like kind of separate the business and the personal, and that is like super, super difficult. I feel like when you work a 9 to 5, you tell them people I'm taking my PTO and I'm using my vacation days. Guess what? That's it. Them people not calling you, right? Like, let's say you have a social media manager and you have a virtual assistant. Let's say your Instagram for your business completely shuts down while you're on vacation. Guess what? They're gonna call you and they're gonna be like, hey, no, you're on vacation, but you know, this Instagram, our Instagram account is currently down. It completely crashed. We don't know where it is. Like, it just disappeared. Guess what you're gonna do? Your whole vacation ruined at that point, because guess what? Your Instagram account, your social media is where you make most of your bread and butter. So guess what you gotta do? Cancel the whole trip. That's not gonna happen when you work a 9 to 5. Guess what? Them people just not gonna call you unless you are in the C-suite, you know, something like that, or you have like a really high ranked role or position. Them people not gonna call you, because guess what? I told y'all that I'm out. Send it to the next person that's higher up, right? Like, that is one thing that, one of my number one icks about being a full-time entrepreneur is, like, there is literally no such thing as balance. There's only maintenance. Like, there is no balance between personal and business. You can only maintain them both. No such thing as any type of balance. The next thing I want to talk to y'all about is, like, when you are working a 9 to 5 versus being a full-time entrepreneur, your salary is your salary, and you spend it on whatever you want to spend it with. You know, spend it on. When you're a full-time entrepreneur, ain't no such thing as that. Guess what? You got something called overhead. And you got to pay that overhead to keep your business afloat. So all the money that you're seeing within your account, guess what? A lot of that money got to go to several different places. You got to pay employees. You got to set money aside for taxes. You got to set money aside for operations, inventory, overhead costs, all of these software systems, equipment, right? Like, you get what I'm saying here? Like, that overhead is crazy. Whereas everything that you make within your 9 to 5, that's pretty much yours to keep unless you are investing it in some type of way. But that's another thing where I'm like, ugh, oh my goodness. I'm seeing all this money roll in, but guess what? A lot of money is rolling out too when you are a full-time entrepreneur. The next thing I want to talk to y'all about is insurance. So it took me a while to get insurance. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, after I quit my 9 to 5. So after I quit, actually I never even had insurance through any of my jobs. I was always on my mom's insurance because it was always cheaper. But when I turned 26, once I turned 26, I had to get off of my mom's insurance, and it was a minute before I got some real deal insurance. I want to say I probably went like 6 to 10 months, something like that, with no insurance. And it was because I was doing so much research trying to figure out like what made the most sense to get insurance. Now I have insurance, so now we're good to go. But insurance, y'all, for full-time entrepreneurs can get very, very pricey. And especially if you have kids, oh my goodness, I could not imagine having kids and getting insurance, having to pay it out of pocket. It's expensive. Personally, for my insurance, I pay like $136 a month, and I think that that's pretty high. So definitely insurance is like a really big bonus when you are working a 9 to 5, but don't let that scare you or hinder you. You can definitely still get full-time entrepreneurship insurance too. Sometimes I would definitely say the amount of money and the amount of work that you do, they don't correlate sometimes. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all, like one thing that I would definitely say is the amount of work that I put into my craft, the amount of studying, the amount of reading, and the amount of money that I make, sometimes they don't correlate, right? Like when you're working 9 to 5, you're getting a salary, and usually the two kind of go through and make a little bit of sense. But I would definitely say, like in those early years of being a full-time entrepreneur, the amount of money that you make versus the amount of work you put in, they do not correlate. And that's something that you're gonna really have to be okay with when you are first starting your business, until you are able to scale it higher, you know, make those smart, decisions and different things like that. The next thing I want to definitely say is like there's never-ending training. Like never-ending training. I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all watching this video right now, you can probably do your 9 to 5 with your eyes closed. Like you've been doing it for so long, it's probably maybe easy. It might not be super time consuming, but it's like the same steps and procedures for the most part. When you are working as a full-time entrepreneur, you are always a student. You are a forever student, okay? You are literally always need to make sure that you're training. Always need to make sure that you have some type of coach or mentor, that can go through and assist you, because the market, the industry is always changing. So you have to make sure that you're on top of it. You have to make sure that you are reading. You have to make sure that you're really locked in, because when you're working a 9 to 5, like I said, it's usually like the same SOPs that you got on day one. It's the same stuff that you probably have always been doing, unless there might be some minor little things that you can change here or there. But for the most part, you're pretty much doing the same thing on a day-to-day basis. Whereas when you're an entrepreneur, the industry literally changes. Social media changes day by day. Equipment changes. Like there's literally so many different things that you just got to make sure that you afloat on. And there's pretty much like never-ending training. Y'all, that freedom and flexibility ain't freedom and flexibility. Okay? That freedom and flexibility ain't freedom and flexibility. Listen. So I know a lot of people want to quit their 9 to 5 because they feel like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna have so much freedom, flexibility, I'm gonna be able to travel, I'm gonna be able to do this, I'm gonna be able to do that. No. It is right now, let me look at the time, almost 3 o'clock, and I've been working all day long. Like there is a freedom and flexibility, but not in the way that y'all think. Like I can work wherever I want to work for the most part. That's what I mean by freedom and flexibility. Because guess what? I still got to grind. I still got to do the work. Flexibility and different things along those lines are great, because if there is something that I need to do, I can move my schedule around for it. But at the same time, it's really not that much freedom, especially when you're really out here putting work in. So freedom and flexibility isn't really the way that people identify freedom and flexibility, I would go through and say. So yeah. So hopefully y'all enjoyed this little rant of me talking about all the different things as to why you should stay in your 9 to 5 a little bit longer. Take advantage of it. Be a lot more grateful for it. Full-time entrepreneurship is beautiful, like I have told you guys numerous times, but there are cons to it. There are days when you do get this lifestyle, and when you are a full-time entrepreneur, that you're gonna want to quit. There are gonna be times where you're like, dang, I really took advantage of my 9 to 5. It is a beautiful thing to be a full-time entrepreneur. I thank God for it every single day. But like I said, there are definitely times where you might want to just throw up the towel, raise them arms to it just a little bit. But hopefully y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, give this video a big thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.